Hello, I'm Claire and I am a ballet teacher and I'm here to help you make your ballets better, basically. I'm going to give you tips over the course of my time here to help you improve your ballet and fine-tune your technique. Sometimes in class we don't have time to really discuss things and really go into the finer details of why this is like this or why that's like that. And actually, it's been more since I've been a teacher that I've realised that using the correct technique actually makes most of the movements easier. It might seem more difficult initially when you're first trying to do the movement, but in the long run, it actually makes the movement more easy to perform and actually often facilitates or gives you more mobility so you can actually get your legs higher or do more turns or whatever it is you're aiming for, jump higher. So unfortunately, I didn't realise that until I was actually a teacher. But hey, we all live and learn. I can now share this with all my dancers and yourselves. So this week I am working on counterpull and posture. So you often see ballet dancers walking around really super, beautiful straight backs and all that sort of thing, and they look absolutely amazing. You think, oh my goodness, I need to stand up straight. and it's part of the way we're instilled to really imagine elongating our spines. Now, I need to dispel a myth because I know when I was in training back in the 80s, so it was some of it was a little bit old-fashioned, some of it was amazing, and they talked about straightening out the spine, getting rid of all the curves, which actually is not that healthy for you. You need the curves in your spine for that shock absorption. However, naturally, if I was to stand normally, you can see here, my hips would tip forward, my stomach will be relaxed. And by my hips tipping forward like that, it's fine in normal life. My shoulders might even be a bit rounded as well, if I was really relaxed. In normal life, that's probably not the end of the world, as long as you don't get too rounded and too sort of collapsed here. However, in ballet, my hips tipping forward actually stops my legs turning out in my hip socket. So if I switch on, we always say engage, but sometimes people don't think what that means. Imagine you're trying to pull your lower belly or your belly button back towards your lower spine. And what that does is it tips those hips so they're in a more neutral position. If I lift this, it tips them so they're in a more neutral position. So my hip bones, instead of pointing to the floor, are now pointing forward. You don't want to do the opposite because that's equally incorrect. You want to find that happy neutral where your hip bones are pointing forwards. And that allows your legs to turn out much more. It also, by reducing this curve, it actually creates more mobility in your spine, yes, because you've taken out the little squished bits and kind of given them a bit more width, okay, you see what I mean? The discs get a little bit squished in that small of your back, but by reducing that curve, not getting rid of it completely, you actually make that little gap between the discs a little bit wider, so it gives you a little bit more mobility in your spine. Also, you want to kind of think of imagine someone's gone like that with your shoulder blades and or your shoulders, rotated them outwards so that the shoulder blades sit nice and flat on your back. I imagine I've gone like that and I'm sort of holding my shoulder blade and pulling it down and under my armpit. And that creates this lovely flat back that you often see ballet dancers have. And it kind of isn't 100% relaxed, but it does actually allow yourself a kind of frame from which your arms can hang, and it gives you that kind of openness of your shoulder line that gives you that lovely poise, and then again makes all your arm movements feel much stronger, because that is what they mean when they say hold it in your back. Yes, you're thinking of your shoulder blade, the muscles underneath your shoulder blades, pulling them nice and flat to your back. And that kind of creates a support, You've got your back here and your arm here, and that shoulder blade gives it an extra bit of stability, to your arm, okay? So those are the elements of your back when you're talking about counterpull and elongating. And it's very much an imagery. You can minimize your curves a little bit. You can't actually make yourself taller or actually make your arm longer. However, the way you work your arms, you can imagine your arms are being pulled outwards, and that makes them look much longer and gives them a much nicer line than kind of letting them bunch in. So you can actually, if you see like that, you can actually slightly elongate your arms if you had been having them a little bit compressed or sort of scrunched in before, you can actually think of, actually no, I'm going to imagine someone's got a hold of my wrist and is gently pulling my arms out. Same with your legs, yeah, when you go to lift your leg, if you think, lift it up, it kind of bunches the muscles. The muscles do need to bunch because that's how they lift your leg. However, if you imagine lengthening that leg before it goes up and keeping your core and your supporting side absolutely strong, that will make the lifting of that leg a slightly more elegant movement, and it will work the same muscles. You'll still use your quads, but not in the same way, if you see what I mean. You start to work the deeper muscles as opposed to just the big bulky muscles on the top. Also, I've got to talk about the turnout on that bit, even though that's not relevant to this bit. When you lift your leg, you need to turn your legs out, so then that sort of gives you the mobility of having your quads to one side, and you use your diagonal muscle, this muscle, a little bit more. So it means that, again, it gives more mobility to your legs. Same with the side, gives more mobility, because if I've got my legs, if I just stand back here, if I've got my legs in parallel, your top of your femur here gets in the way. I can't lift my leg more than that. Yes, whereas if I turn it out, I can lift it nice and easily out to the side. Yeah, so that's slightly irrelevant to this conversation, but I felt I couldn't mention lifting your leg without talking about turnout. So, thinking about that elongation, yes, that will give you that absolute poise, that will help you with your line when you're creating arabesque lines. Think of elongating out rather than scrunching your back. That will help create a beautiful line and lifted leg. And again, it's a kind of psychological thing, but it kind of creates space for the left leg to lift. I know that's a really weird thing, but it really works when you get students to really think about elongating, pushing up through the head, down through the floor, and out through the leg that they're lifting. It just gives it that length and just makes it look so much more beautiful. So to go with that, I'm also talking about breath. So again, you're breathing in as everything goes up and out as it goes down. So it gives the movements lovely dynamics, okay? So what I'd like you to think about today in your classes is to think about, are you really engaging that lower core? Again, the reason I talk about the lower core is that leaves your ribs free. You don't want your ribs to expand, but at the same time, and sort of flare out this way, but at the same time, you want to be able to breathe comfortably, yes? So concentrating on working on this and your turnout will give you the stability to hold your legs and hold your core while you're moving around or while you're doing anything, even to go off balance, yes? If you're holding your core, you won't fall over. If you're not, don't know, might, maybe not. So it gives you that control, it gives you that stability, and it also gives you that beautiful posture that projects out to the audience, okay? So just a little one for you today. Don't forget to subscribe and share and like, and let me know how you're getting on. Let me know if these tips are helping you, and ask questions. I'm here to help and I'm happy to share. If you want to dance with me, I have my own classes. You can join me online live, or you can join bridgeballet.club and enjoy any of my classes anytime, night or day. See you later. Take care. Bye.